Hello everyone, I hope that you're doing great. Well, on today's video, like always, is a vocabulary session. So we're gonna learn 5 very common vocabularies in English. These 5 words, these 5 vocabularies are really common in English, and they're also relatable. That means that they either have a relatable meaning or it's each other's part of speech, or like they're kind of relatable. And it really helps when you want to remember them and you want to keep them in your mind. So it really helps to learn relatable words if you want to learn the words effectively. And also, this video contains many examples. 3 good and common examples for each word, which helps so much with you activating the words. Because you need to learn the words, the vocabulary in the context. That's the right way to learn English. That's the right way to learn vocabulary, to learn the words in context. That's really important, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna review a lot of examples, and I want to tell you again and remind you of how important is consistency. And it doesn't really work, any of these or any of those, whatever you're trying, it's not gonna work if you are not consistent with them. Especially if they're using the right method. It's such a waste that you just not be consistent and ruin everything. So that's why I'm going to share consistent vocabulary and grammatical lessons. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you learned or liked anything about it, and don't forget to ring the bell so that you don't miss the coming lessons that I make for you. Without further ado, let's go. The first word is impress. If a person or thing impresses you, that means you like it somehow and you admire them. You think that they're good and worthy and valuable. You somehow have a positive feeling and opinion towards them. So that is when you are impressed, okay? And you are thinking when you're impressed that, oh my God, that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. In any way, in any aspect, whatever that you're concerning with. So you impress something about something. For example, her efforts impressed me. It means that I liked her efforts and how she tries to get something. So again, let's review the meaning. If a person or something impresses you, that means that you like them somehow and you have a positive feeling and you admire them. Okay, let's read the examples together. We usually impress someone. We can impress someone. We can make them feel in a way that they feel positively towards us. We can make them feel that they admire us, that they like us, and they think that we did a good job, okay? When we admire someone, we in our hearts, we're like, well done, we admire them. We interviewed a number of candidates, but none of them impressed us. That means that a lot of candidates were there, so for us to check them if they're good enough or they're not. So we didn't like them. They didn't impress us. That means that they weren't able to make us feel positively towards them. They didn't make us feel like we admire them, and we didn't say well done in our heart, okay? And none of them did anything to surprise us in a positive way. None of them did anything to make us feel good and think positively towards them. His sincerity impressed her. Sincerity is the quality of being honest and truthful. When someone is honest, they're sincere, okay? So someone's honesty or sincerity can impress me or impressed her. That means that she feels good about honesty and she admires honesty and she respects honesty, okay? And whenever she sees someone who is honest and tells the truth, she's like, very good, perfect, well done. She admires the person. The person impresses her. And she is impressed by that person. So we can impress someone with something. We can make them feel good and feel positive and make them admire us with something. It could be with trick, with honesty. For example, in the previous example, he impressed her with honesty. Okay? Here it says Hey, it's the same example. I just wanted to say he impressed her with his sincerity, with his honesty. It's the same example. Okay. Or with his courage, she impressed me with her beauty. Usually that's what women do. They're beautiful, so they impress people. Or usually usually as a person, we're impressed when we see a hard work, a good thing, a valuable thing that a person does. For example, her work impressed me. That means that it was very valuable, that impressed me and made me respect it and feel good about it and admire it. Okay. Or we can say it impresses me when something happens, or it impresses me that you're so hardworking. So that's another way we can use it. For example, it impressed me that she remembered my name. It means that I was positively shocked and happy and somehow honored, felt respected about her remembering my name. I felt good about her. She impressed me. She did something with remembering my name. She did something good and positive towards me that I felt like I want to respect her and I admired her. It means that she impressed me. Next word is impressive. The adjective of the day is impressive. Impressive is the adjective form of impress. And it's also very, very common in everyday English. When something is impressive, it is somehow good. It is something that impresses you. It is something that you feel good about and you think you want to admire that. You are in your heart, you're saying that, well done, very good, a good job, You feel good and positive towards that thing. So it is impressive, that thing, For example, her work is impressive. I was impressed. That means that her work was very valuable in a way that made me respect it and admire it and love it and like it. So it impressed me. And it was impressive. Let's read the meaning here. It says, making you admire them because they're very large, good, skillful, etc. If something has a good quality, especially if it's valuable and it is capturing your attention, taking your attention, and you pay attention to that, and maybe it's skillful, maybe it's very large, maybe it's really good, or it's positive anyway. So you're impressed by them, and that thing or that person is impressive. Let's read the examples together. An impressive performance. That means that job, that performance, that activity was really good in a way that I was impressed. So it was impressive. Impressive performance. We have some really popular collocations, the words that come together. An impressive list, an impressive collection. She was very impressive in the interview. It means that she did pretty well. She was really good in the interview in a way that she impressed everyone, made everyone feel positive and good and respectful towards her, made everyone admire her. And we have an impressive display of skill. We have as impressive display, impressive show, representation. Something that you show and represent and display, it could be something impressive. Something that make other people feel good and positively and make them like they want to respect it and they admire it. He has an impressive record. We have impressive record, something that you impress and you're like, good job. So impressive record is the record which is really good in a way that captures your attention and you're like, very good. Let's talk about the next word, which is impression. the noun form of impress. Isn't it interesting that impress as the verb has all of these great, very common part of speech, and they're all so common, and they're all relatable. So cool and easy to learn, easier to learn. So impression is the noun form of impress. It basically means the way you think or perceive of something. Here it says your impression of a person or thing is what you think they are like, usually after having seen or heard them. Your impression of a situation is what you think is going on. Okay, have you heard the famous phrase, the famous sentence, the first impression? First impression is usually the first thought that we have of someone or something or of a situation, a particular situation. The way we think or perceive of it and the way it makes us feel, the way we think they're like. Let's read the examples. She gives the impression of being very busy. Someone gives an impression of, okay? When something gives you an impression of something, that means that makes you think that way about them. Okay, for example, she gives me an impression of being very kind. That means that she makes me think that she's very kind. My impression is that they're totally out of control. That means that I think that they're totally out of control. What I think is that they're out of control. So, my first impression of him was favorable. Favorable means something that you like. It was good, positive. So my first impression of him was positive. It means that I liked him. First thing I thought about him was good. I liked him. Example, I had the impression that it was all done in a hurry. I had the impression, we have an impression. We can have an impression. That means we think in a way. Or you can get or give an impression. When you give an impression, that means that you make someone think in a certain way. When you get the impression, it means that you think in a certain way. The fourth word, vocabulary, is this kind of the synonym form of the main verb impress, which is amaze. Amaze means to surprise someone in a positive way, give them good news or just make them feel good and positively towards something. So we surprise them positively with something good, usually. So when something amazes you, you're surprised by its good side, maybe by its greatness, by its size, when it's large or whatever. It amazes you. For example, the size of this place amazed her. That means that she was surprised in a positive way. She liked it and she felt positively about it. She thought positively about it. She was amazed, surprised in a positive way. So, very surprised actually. This is someone to see, to find, to learn, to know. For example, it amazes me to find the truth. It amazes me to see something. For example, it amazes me to see a butterfly today. It amazes me to think what we have achieved this year. Usually for accomplishments, for good things, we're amazed. Things that come after hard work and things that are valuable will amaze us, will make us amazed. The next word and kind of the opposite form of impress is disappoint. Is the opposite of impress. It's the opposite of amaze. It means that when something disappoints you, you don't feel positively towards them and they're not as good as you expected. They're not as good, as valuable, as large, as skillful, as whatever you thought it was, it's not as you expected. So you're disappointed by that thing or by them. You're disappointed. So when something disappoints you, it makes you feel negative towards that thing. It makes you feel bad and it upsets you actually. Here it says to make someone feel sad because something something that they hope for or expect to happen does not happen or is not as good as they expected or as good as they hoped. For example, if you don't come today, you will disappoint your fans. That means that your fans expect you to come. They will be happy if they see you. So if you don't come, you upset them. You make them sad and you disappoint them because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You didn't do what you were expected to do. So you disappoint them. You disappoint your fans if you don't come. The movie had disappointed her. For example, she had some expectations from the movie. She has some thought about the movie that, okay, I heard that this is so great, and she had some expectations. But after she saw the movie, she felt disappointed. She was disappointed, and the movie disappointed her because it wasn't as good as intended, as good as expected, and made her sad and made her feel negatively towards it. And I hate to disappoint you. This is another very common phrase, the way we can use disappoint. I hate to disappoint you. First of a sentence that we want to give a bad news, or we want to say something that is negative to someone, we say that I don't want to disappoint you, but, for example, I'm not gonna come to your party. Or I don't want to disappoint you, but I'm not interested. Here it says, I hate to disappoint you, but I'm just not interested. That means that I don't like to make you feel bad. I don't like to destroy your expectations, but this is the truth. But for example, I'm not gonna come to the party, or I'm gonna come to the movies, it's just, I'm not interested, okay? You don't want to disappoint someone, but you usually do. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell because that will help you to remember. For example, when I have a new video, you know that it's your learning session. You got to be consistent, and consistency is the most important thing in your learning process, in your language learning process especially. And please, if you had any questions, feel free to, comment down below. I will be so happy and honored to answer all of your questions. And thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.